G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and to this particular review where I'm going to take a look at this particular piece. Again, this has been available from GearBest. It is a collaboration piece, so thank you to them. Take a look at their online store. It is massive with lots of different products and a pretty wide selection of Chinese-made, Chinese-owned watches in their jewelry and watch section. So, all the links and discount codes below in the description. Now, this particular brand, there's nothing much about it. I don't know very much. There doesn't seem to be a lot of information. And again, it's one of those Chinese brands that don't particularly have their own website. Unlike something more reputable like Seagull, this brand does not have their own website. They only mainly sell through retailers like AliExpress. They have some on Amazon as well. So, take a look if you will. If you find any more information, let me know, please. I'd really like to know more about this brand. Now, one thing is there is rampant confusion as to how to pronounce this. And in English, I've heard it say as Tevise. That's probably the most common pronunciation, or Tevise, something like that. But interestingly, they've actually put a Chinese transliteration here. So this is in Chinese, Tevise, okay, Tevise. So that's actually what those characters mean. I don't think they have any specific meaning. It's just really a sound to create the name in a Chinese pronunciation. Okay, so simple case here, and just a slip case, and then the inside box, which is in this black faux leather type of look. And let's take a look at the piece inside. So you've seen me unbox one of these from Jody's collection that he sent me. This one is one that I got from GearBest itself. So this is the Tevise or Tevise automatic T801A in black gold in jewel tone. Okay, so that's what this watch is. It is only astoundingly $20 on GearBest, and sometimes when it goes on discount it's even less than that. And it's just astounding that they can put out a piece like this in automatic for that price. Okay, so the movement on the website, irritatingly, a lot of these retailers don't list the direct information on the movement, but I have identified this as the Tongji movement, all right, the Chinese unified movement. If you don't know much about this, there's an interesting history. In the early 1970s, the Chinese government mandated that almost all manufacturers had to create the same unified movement. And the word Tongji actually kind of means a unified system, if you will, or unified instrument. So it is a 21,600 beat per hour movement. 17 jewel count is the minimum stipulation. And 40-hour power reserve is what I've found this to be rated at. It does have a manual wind function in the 0 position there, right? So that's manual winding. It does have a quick set date, in this case in the 3 o'clock window, of course, right? This is a sub homage, but it doesn't hack. If I pull it all the way out, the second hand will keep ticking. Okay, the case, right, it's Submariner style. There's no doubt about it, right? Nobody's going to deny that. But it is larger than the typical sub. It is a 42mm case. It's steel, but I don't know whether it's 316L steel. The website doesn't say, the watch doesn't say. It is 14mm on the thickness, 20mm on the lug width, and lug to lug distance is 51mm there. All right, the case is fully polished, as you see me rotate that around. And it doesn't have that brushed lug, which is typical of a lot of sub homages and the actual sub watch itself. The case back, if you take a look, all right, so there's a display back there, right, with some details around the side there. It says water resistant, steel, and the model number on one side. It actually doesn't have a screw-in marker, right? I mean, you can see there it is actually a snap-on case back, interestingly. And with the pushing crown, the water rating resistance is described as life, and I think, I don't know what that means, but I wouldn't treat this as a water resistant watch. It really is just maybe splash resistant. Certainly don't go submerging this. Jody did a submerging test on his piece, and it actually led in water. All right, the dial see if I can actually get that showing here. It might be a bit difficult in this lighting, but it does have a black sunburst dial there. Okay, so it's black on sunburst. It does have the Mercedes hands, of course. It's got the applied gold tone markers in the sub style. It's got printed text, but curiously, if you can see what's on the bottom there, it says you're at 100 feet, 30 meters. There you go, that's the water rating. Perlative Ceranometer, officially certified. So, you know, go figure what that is. Perlative Ceranometer, those aren't real words. And then officially certified, I don't know who has certified this. Probably nobody, I would think. Okay, so that's really just aping the sub appearances, nothing more than that. The lume is basic, it's pretty poor. I'll put up a lume shot here, but it doesn't seem to last through the night even after a full charge in my experience. The glass is again aping the sub glass, but it's mineral, and it's got the Cyclops state window there, which you know, isn't actually directly centered. So let's move that hand away. If you can see me hold the watch here, it's actually not actually very well centered, right? And that's not surprising. I think with the QC level they may be able to implement at this low price. The bezel, right, again, is also poor. There's a lot of play. It's loose. It's right 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. It is a 60 click bezel, but it's unidirectional. Okay, and it's got an aluminium insert as far as I can tell. Certainly, you were very shocked if it was ceramic. The bracelet, as you have seen already, oyster style. It does have the brush side links, side pieces, and a polished centerpiece, which is in gold tone. So it is very much an oyster style bracelet, but it's hollow, right? There's evidences of this on kind of this part here, if I can show that, right? You can see that's, don't know whether it translates, but that's folded over. So, you know, that's evidence that the bracelet is hollow, and weight-wise, it certainly feels hollow. But interestingly, they've actually toned the inside as well, whereas, for example, in Invicta, they actually leave the inside steel and only tone the outside. So they've gone that extra step. Curiously, you know, it's really curious the steps that they have taken. The class is very basic. It's not the worst. I think one of the Seikos I reviewed is possibly the worst, but this is not the worst, but it is very, very basic, and it, you know, even then there's a bit of a looseness there. But it is slightly better than the other model that I had in hand. So let me just go grab that. Okay, so this is the piece that Jody sent over, and you can see it has actually essentially the same watch, but it has a slightly different class, and I don't know why they do have this difference, but this one kind of apes the look of the Rolex Glide Lock class. But if you look at that, right, I just put it on and snap the keeper on, and it comes apart. So fit wise, this is worse. You know, it's a bit more solid, but fit wise, this is actually a worse class. So I guess it's kind of like pick your evil. Which one do you think is worse to have? I don't think you have a choice when you order the watch. You're going to get one or the other, I suspect. But let me know what you think. Which one do you think is actually worse off? So let me just try that on the wrist there for the shot. Okay, so there it is. The Tevise, right, automatic T801 on my wrist. Right, my 17 centimeter wrist. This is a 42 millimeter watch with 51 on the lug to lug there. So it is on the big side for sure for my particular wrist size. Okay, so what can I say about this? Well, I think it's astounding that they've put this out for $20. Right, that is just astounding. It's almost unbelievable that anybody in this world can do that. But if anything, I think the Chinese can. It's got a steel case watch, right? You're getting that automatic movement with a bit of history, but I think right now the Tongji movement, you're going to get a bit of variability in quality, and that's what I read. It's a bit of a pot shot as to whether it will perform well. Sometimes the winding, the automatic winding doesn't work very well, and I'll try to see if this one, you know, it doesn't. Sometimes has been reported that the winder fails and you have to use it as a manual winder. Right, and so that's going to be some variability into the movement, whether it actually is accurate or not. It's a bit touch and go. The finishing, right, is you're getting basic finishing, right? It's all rounded, it's all polished, but you know, the case feels reasonably solid enough. You know, it feels like it's not gonna, I guess, fall apart on you in a day or two. Okay, that's what I can say about this. The value that you're gonna get. You know, the fit and finish is probably expected for this price, right? The bracelet is poor, the clasp is very poor. You know, the end links is hollow. The bezel, right, we've talked about that, is loose, and the lume is probably just about the worst I've ever seen, possibly even worse than Invicta, if that was possible. It really is just a skin deep homage, right? You know, it's just there for looks. Yet, they've bothered with a display back, they've bothered with toning the inside of the bracelet, you know, and they've bothered putting an automatic movement in here. So it's just a curious mix of purpose here, you know, exactly what is being achieved by this watch. But, you know, it looks fine, right? It doesn't feel fine, but it looks fine. And for $20 for an automatic, what can you really expect? So guys, you know, I've rambled on enough. That's my take on this Tevise, or Tevise, if you want to pronounce the Chinese, automatic watch in jewel tone black gold. Let me know what you think, if you have any experience and knowledge of this brand, this Chinese brand. Guys, if you like my videos, please consider subscribing. I'm putting out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for watching, and as always, I will catch you next time.